even though, like even if I use your strategy, I'm still using a short-term strategy, right? I'm still making someone stop in 90 seconds, but it also considers the long-term potentialities of it. It also makes someone feel validated. It's also emotionally competent.
And it makes you emotionally confident. The more you do this, the more emotionally confident you become. Automatically. It's reprogramming. Every time you label somebody's emotions, you are reprogramming your own brain in a very positive, powerful way.
So tell me, how is it that I could, one of the things is it's reflexive, right? Again, like we were just talking about, emotions come before thought. My appeasing actions are probably going to come before I sit there and I say, okay, let's use Doug's strategy. Doug's strategy is better. It's going to work. So tell me, how is it that, and I'm not sure if I see this connection yet, how is it that this strategy is able to heal my own anxiety and my own feeling for the sense of appeasement?
Because the more you are able to label somebody else's emotions, you're building your own emotional database at the same time. You're growing your own emotional awareness. And as you grow your own emotional self-awareness, you will become more and more aware of of the nuances of your own emotional experience.
Well, we could say that already, right? Just from this conversation, I just figured out that my appeasement is triggered by anxiety.
That's right.
Right.
Now you know that when you try to appease as a pleaser, you're soothing your own anxiety. That's what's going on. So now your next step is to say, all right, what are the conditions that make me anxious? Well, when other people are upset or angry or conflict situations, I'm always going to feel anxious. Then the next step is to say, okay, so what other strategies can I use other than appeasement when somebody's in conflict or angry or upset? Well, the first thing I want to go to is affect labeling. I'm going to affect label myself. I'm going to say, me, Nick, oh man, they're really upset and I'm feeling really anxious right now.
Because they're upset.
Anxious and afraid and fearful. And I feel a little bit of shame and embarrassment because I don't know what to do. And I feel like I'm a little bit out of control and I feel uncertain and confused. And that's making me feel anxious. Then you affect label the other person.
And the affect label. Well, you just discovered, right? Or you just psychoanalyzed a yes man, right? Because that's what a yes man does. A yes man, because I noticed I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, what were the recent conversations that I have? In a recent conversation, my friend was telling me about the problems in her life and blah, blah, blah. And I had opinions and I didn't say them. And it was probably because I didn't want to cause problems. And that turned me into a yes man. That turned me into oh yeah, okay, you're right. Yep, I agree. Definitely.
That's the first layer of listening, where you're paying attention and you're using basically nonverbal responses. Yeah, nodding your head, paying attention. That's called following, which is good. And the other good thing you did is you didn't jump in with your own opinions and problem solving. She didn't want to hear that.
No way.
Now, the next step for you is when your friend has a story like that again, listen to her emotions. Oh man, you were really upset. That really frustrated you. You felt really unsupported and unappreciated. That kind of pissed you off. And just make it colloquial, make it very casual, and just throw in don't say anything else other than emotions. And watch what happens. And she'll say, yeah, that's exactly right. Well, tell me more. So she goes on and you invite her to tell more. And then you label that. Now be careful. I tell in my graduate classes at Pepperdine, I teach this, and it's so funny. I'll teach this like on a Friday, and I'll tell my female students, I'll say, ladies, and they're all law students, or they're masters of dispute resolution, they're graduate students, or LLMs, and masters in laws. And I'll say, look, I know you're going to go out tonight, Friday night. This is pre-pandemic, of course. You're going to go out tonight. You're going to hit the bars. Probably get blasted, all cool. I'm fine with you coming in to class tomorrow morning hungover. I expect it. And they're all laughing. Now, be very careful about using affect labeling, because if you affect label a guy in the bar, you better have a 10-foot crowbar with you, because you're going to have to pry him off, because this creates instant intimacy. and so be very careful. And they say, oh yeah, right, Professor Noll. Next morning, sure enough, they come in, they're hungover. And I said, all right, what happened? And invariably, 2 or 3 of the women, and at Pepperdine, it's on Malibu, so they're all generally pretty good looking. And they'll start telling stories about how they affect labeled some strange guy and they just could not get rid of him.
Oh
And
my
they said, I didn't believe it, but I'm a believer now.
Well, it's like, you know, those studies on attraction theory, how they sit there and, you know, like a little child and a little baby boy and his mother, and, you know, how the
Right.
baby boy feels when
Yeah,
the mother
it's
gives
all,
nurturing.
yeah, it's Bowlby's work, all on attachment, which is really powerful and it's important. So, I mean, if you want to test this out, you know, next time you're around a girl, just listen to her emotions, reflect her emotions, and just stop and be the observer. She's a lab rat right now, right? Not a
Just
girl,
affect
a
label the
lab rat.
crap out of
And
her.
you're gonna listen to her, listen to and reflect her emotion, and you're gonna observe what her behaviors are and what happens. You will be shocked at how powerful this is.
We'll see. We'll see. I must try it.
Yeah. So here's what I want you to do before you start trying this out on unsuspecting friends of yours.
Okay.
Practice for a week or two. So you're home in New Jersey now, or are you back in Indiana?
I'm in Indiana University, 40,000
Okay,
students here.
So do you go out in the morning and get coffee?
No, I do not.
Okay. Do you go, I mean, are you eating at the student union, or, I mean, where are you getting your, where?
Yeah, I see people very often. Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is when you're in the student union, you're getting food, maybe you're getting breakfast or lunch or getting coffee or whatever. They're going to be people behind the counters and stuff that are preparing the food and putting it out. You affect label every single, not the students, but all the servers and all the people, the service people. Look at them, and one emotion, you're really happy. You look a little tired. You're a little frustrated. Mostly it's going to be happy. You look really happy today. You look kind of excited. Go to the cash register. There'll be somebody there sitting on a stool taking the credit cards at the cart, whatever it is. One affect label to them. Oh man, you look really happy today. Oh, I am. And just observe. One label, usually positive, happy or excited. You could do tired or frustrated, but keep it to those four. Label them conversationally, and then watch what happens. Just observe. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it naturally, and I'm going to observe what happens.
Okay, and I'm saying
every day. Do
right?
it every day. Every time you go into the student union, or you go to a restaurant, or you go to Starbucks, wherever you go, do it to strangers, and do it until you've gotten enough data, observational data, to say, "Wow, this really works." And then you can start trying your girlfriends, your friends, or even your guys that are friends of yours. And when you start with friends, again, keep it very off the cuff, very conversational. Don't go into a deep affect label. Don't go through the 6 layers. Just one-offs. And again, observation. Okay, I'm going to try affect labeling her. I'm going to listen to her emotions and reflect back 1 or 2 emotions, and then see what happens. And so make it an experiment.